Gen Z and millennials are hoping for the society to collapse, with most feeling trapped and unheard. They'd rather start all again from scratch, after burning down the framework already built up for us, while having little to no real idea of what to do next. Well, luckily for them, they've realized that just by sitting back and getting high, society will crumble all on its own. What a wonderful world we live in, isn't it? They do have some points though, ironically. So, if you feel like you relate to anything discussed in today's video, or just simply like topics discussing the downfall of society, feel free to like, comment your thoughts and opinions below, and subscribe to see my daily uploads around here discussing topics just like this. And I want to start this video off by giving a huge shout out to everybody who supports the content around here, especially my Patreon supporters, my channel memberships, everybody who rocks the content. You can check out all that stuff down below in the description. Some of those links are some of the best ways to support me and the content around here. Now, let's begin this shit show, shall we?
You know what blows my mind? The fact that this work shit, it doesn't stop. Like if you think ahead of the future, it doesn't stop. Like
Ooh.
you can think 30, 40 years in advance and you're going to be doing the same fucking thing. You're going to be going into work.
Oh
You don't
man,
get no
don't tell me
breaks.
that.
You don't get a couple years off. Like it literally goes until you're fucking old as fucking dirt if you don't figure it out.
And retirement ain't even
Like if
promised
you
no more.
stop
Ain't
right
that shit
now,
crazy?
whatever job you work right now, and you think about the future, you can go 10, 20 years down the line and you're still going to clock in Monday through Friday and do the same shit you're doing today 20 years from now. It doesn't stop.
And like
And that's really what people talk about when they talk about the rat race, is that it's just a non-stop cycle. It's a wheel you hop on, and they do open the cage on the weekends. They do kind of let you off the ride and, you know, explore the little coliseum that they, let you experience um, the proclaimed freedom that they give you the definition for. But as much freedom as we are allowed to experience, is it really the true freedom at the end of the day? Because we are all still forced to work and get that paycheck, or else you're going to lose everything you have, whether that's your bills, your home, or your car, or assets, or anything that you really have going on. Being able to keep the food in the fridge and being able to go out and impress the neighbors and keep up with the Joneses is the most important thing here in America. Now, this is the Hunger Games 2.0, where this is what this guy's going to talk about, where nobody's really buying any of the extra stuff no more. Vegas is getting dead, and the convenience stores are stop. They're not selling goodies no more. They're just overcharging on the actual appliances and the stuff that they know that's going to sell. Crazy how corporations work, huh?
y'all all the time. All y'all old heads that be saying, oh, this generation is so lazy. I promise you, bro, you was not dealing with $1,600, $1,700 rent. Your rent probably was like $500. You was, bro, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it. Because at the end of the day, our generation is not lazy, bro. We are just put in circumstances where we gotta figure it out, bro.
Alright, I'm going to correct him. I think there are lazy people and motivated people in every generation, in any sort of group or category you want to, put in the blank title here. It's an individual thing. I mean, I think we need to stop throwing labels on everybody, even though I guess some stereotypes maybe might hold like some sort of reality, but I think that they really always get pushed to the masses, and really that's not always the case, and really almost isn't ever really the truth.
Real talk. And a lot of us refuse to wait till we 70 or 75 to live our life.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me either, though. Who thought this idea?
This is really
Government?
the Hunger Games 2.0 in America.
I just left my doctor's office and I had this realization about the entire healthcare industry. They basically are the same as pimps or the mafia. Literally
Think about this. Imagine your healthcare office as the Sopranos, okay? Hear her out here for a second.
exact
We
operating
spin some real
procedures.
truth.
Because they ask you for this huge chunk of your paycheck and you say, well, why do you need all that money? And they go, well, it's for protection. And you say, protection from what? And they're like, well, all the things that could happen to your frail human body. And then lo and behold, something happens to your frail human body. So you go to the doctor, but then the doctor gives you this gigantic bill. So you go to your healthcare company and you say, I thought you were offering me protection. And they say, well, yeah, we were offering you protection from how much the doctor would charge you if we weren't here. And you say, well, the doctor only charges that much because of you. You're the cause of that. And they say, well, don't worry. We'll be here if something big happens. And then something big happens. And you go to your healthcare company and you say, all right, well, are you going to cover this now? And they're like, no, we're not going to cover that. And you said, but you'd be there if something big happens. And they say, well, yeah, we'll still be here, a company. That's what we meant. Just we'll be here, we will exist, but we're not going to help you out. And then you realize, oh, what I needed protection from all along was my healthcare company.
Kind of is pretty ironic how that ends up being the case in many scenarios. I mean, there is that joke how in America people are terrified to call the ambulance, and I've even told my mother where when I was living alone for the longest time, no one would probably find me for 3 or 4 days, so I'm not going to call the ambulance because that's why I do survive. I'm just going to ruin my life and wish I was dead once I have that, 10K, 20K racked up bill of having the ambulance had to come and pick me up, drop me off at the hospital, which is probably only a few blocks away since I've always lived in the cities, and then staying there for a few nights, which who knows what I'll be doing there. I mean, how they price stuff at the hospital. I mean, a glass of water might be $20 these days, knowing the economy. So I don't even want to chance that. But it seems like no matter which type of insurance, health insurance, car insurance, like home insurance, all these things seem pretty much scammy these days more than not.
Health insurance, medical insurance, everything insurance. Mind you, we don't get this money back if we don't fall sick or if we don't get in a car accident, none of that. I feel like at the end of the year, we should get some kind of like, oh, you didn't get into no car accidents, here's a refund. Because I'm not going to be just paying for nothing.
Does anybody else?
See, and it's not like it should necessarily be like an investment strategy or anything of that sort of regard, but definitely is kind of ironic how you just pay and pay and pay, hoping something doesn't happen. You're hoping that you pay for nothing. Because one day when you do pay for something, you're hoping that all that you paid for will actually work out, and a lot of times it doesn't. And then I'm pretty sure it's illegal to not have insurance on many things, or at least it's an interesting concept here.
Watch movies about a zombie apocalypse and just think, wow, it must be so nice not to have to go to work anymore.
And not have any bills, not have to deal with any of the nonsense, drama, corruption that is the United States of America. But either way, I do still love my country. As much as I talk shit about this place, it is still nice to have all the freedom that they do allow us to have. But then again, I almost feel like maybe are we being brainwashed to think that there's not as many freedoms as we have outside of the U.S. I do know there's many freedoms here that I definitely do take for granted, even that I haven't experienced outside the U.S. Being like the freedom of speech, freedom to bear arms, freedom to the press, yada yada yada. And I definitely am very appreciative of these things because technically, I guess I am the press. I mean, I feel like independent journalism is the new news these days. Please don't ever look at me as a news reporter. I'm just a guy online who spits my opinion about the shit. But anyway, I do appreciate all you guys who do love my opinions and who always share your guys' down below in the comments. Always feel free to. And I do want to give a huge shout out to everybody who rocks the content so much. They go above and beyond to check out the Patreon, the channel memberships, and everybody who rocks the content can check out all that stuff down below in the description. And like I always say, some of those links are some of the best way to support me and the content around here. Now, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.